Oh, fantastic! It's another day and I've not had a problem with my transporter. Hello, why would you buy a Volkswagen Transporter when there are other vehicles available? Arguably more spacious, more refined interiors and certainly cheaper. Today I'm going to be giving you some of the reasons why you should, but also some big news which is coming in the very near future, which could actually blow some of these theories completely out of the water. Let's firstly talk about price. Now, the price for Volkswagen Transporter is more expensive than most of the vehicles which are on the market. And a lot of other owners of other branded vehicles will say that Transporter owners are paying way over the odds. But that's not the full story. The price of a new van has increased over the last few years, but this isn't just Volkswagen in isolation. This is also other manufacturers, and this is a direct result of the increased cost of components, labour, and just the difficulty of actually producing them. The cost of the vehicles has increased. Now, a quick Auto Trader search for vehicles manufactured after 2018 with less than 40,000 miles, you'll actually see that the Ford Transit is actually around £4,000 cheaper for the cheapest compared to the Volkswagen Transporter. And if we look at other manufactured vehicles of similar size vans, this gap is even bigger. But also, if we take this back for many years, a lot later on, a lot earlier vehicles, will actually see that the Volkswagen Transporter really does hold its value extremely well, which means the value is maintained for many years of Transporter ownership and also many miles. And speaking of miles, these are really good engines. They go on for thousands and thousands of miles. You will often see Transporters with over 200,000, 250,000, even 300,000. I've actually heard of vehicles doing over 500,000 and 600,000 miles. They just go on. If a van is really well looked after, given the attention it needs, serviced at regular intervals, they will last. Over 12 million Volkswagen Transporters have been produced over the years. Yes, from the 1950s. And you'll still see a lot of the older vehicles on the road today. The heritage for the modern Volkswagen Transporter is still there and visible to be seen today. And I will come onto the reliability of these vehicles a little bit later on. But if you're not concerned about the van's residual value, what other options are there? Well, we've already just mentioned the Ford Transit, but you've also got other similar sized vehicles from other brands such as Fiat, Renault, Peugeot. You've got the Mercedes Vito, which has also got the bigger version of the Mercedes Sprinter, which is a comparison of the Volkswagen Transporter. You've got the Toyota ProAce. You've got the Hyundai i8000, I think it is. The Vauxhall Vivaro. There are lots of other options if you didn't want the Volkswagen Transporter. But why should you still get the Transporter? All these vans have over the years had campervan conversions, and some of them very successfully. But why? What's the second reason you should still get the Transporter? There are fewer companies manufacturing campervan conversions for these sort of vehicles. Kitchen units, bed systems, pop-top roofs. There's not as many companies manufacturing these parts. And although some of them might fit the vehicle, are they actually safety tested in that particular vehicle? Because they're not as produced as much, they're not necessarily tested in the same way as a good campervan conversion is. Bespoke components may need to be manufactured, which is going to come at a greater cost. So the third reason to buy a Transporter over the others: forums, Facebook groups, clubs. The abundance of help and support is available at the tip of your fingers for a Transporter owner, but it's much harder to find for an owner of another branded vehicle. There are tens of posts, hundreds possibly every single day for Transporter owners, featuring lots of advice, help. These forums contain diagrams, documentation, everything which you need for your vehicle. If you've potentially got a problem for your van, somebody else has probably already had it and they're going to be able to help you solve it. With the other manufacturers, the help isn't there in quite the same way. But there's also clubs, meets and festivals which you've got as a Volkswagen Transporter owner. Now, I know that this might not be everybody's cup of tea, but they are there if you want them. Face-to-face meetings, other people owning similar vehicles to what you have, discussing what they've done to their van, hearing their stories of what they've done, how they've done it, the experiences which they've actually had, sharing advice, hints, tips. and maybe picking up some inspiration for what the next thing is to do on your van, or that must-have item which is going to go on your endless list of must-have items. And speaking of must-have items, aftermarket parts. Now, aftermarket parts are available everywhere for the Transporter. You can get your body kits, your sidebars, your splitters, your spoilers, your exhaust, whatever you need to cosmetically, aesthetically improve the look of your vehicle. There are loads of parts with lots of choice. But for the other brands, the choice just isn't there. You've not got that abundance of parts. There are so many third-party companies producing parts and accessories for the Volkswagen Transporter because it is such a popular vehicle. Other manufacturers' campervans just don't have the same accessibility to aftermarket parts and also the help and guidance. But is that about to change? Some news which is coming in the very, very near future is the new T7. Now, the new T7 is rumoured to be made alongside Ford, made out of the Turkey plant, and it is actually going to be the same vehicle. The Ford Transit Custom has been announced, and it looks very Ford-like, but apparently this is going to be the same platform that the Volkswagen Transporter T7 is going to be built on. Now, I've heard that there are going to be differences, but a lot of these differences are going to be internal, but the rest of the vehicle is exactly the same. So does this mean in the future, when we're looking at a Leighton's Vans front splitter, that Leighton Vans front splitter for the Volkswagen Transporter T7 will actually be also for the Ford Transit Custom? We're yet to find out. Volkswagen haven't made any announcement yet. We're going to have to wait and see. But what about reliability? Well, you will often hear lots of horror stories about the Transporter that's never been back out of the garage. It's always back at the garage having something repaired. Yeah, you are going to see these stories. You are going to see these problems which people have, because they're either going to post, "Oh, fantastic, it's another day and I've not had a problem with my Transporter." And then the next day, "Oh, I've had another trouble-free day with my..." People don't post things like that. They will only post when they've got a problem to find out whether somebody else has got that same problem. There are inevitably going to be some problems. All manufacturers suffer vehicle problems. There is always that one vehicle which you could call a Friday car, which has a lot of problems. I had that once with a previous car I had, and I'd had several cars from this same brand, but that one vehicle was the one that caused me problems. There's always going to be the odd one or two which suffer problems. Now, if you look at the Parker's reliability report, which was issued in the December just gone, the Volkswagen Transporter was rated second out of the vans, only second to the Mercedes Sprinter. If the Volkswagen Transporter had the problems which other manufacturers say it has, it wouldn't be number 2 on the list. Reliability really shouldn't be a problem. Technology has come on so much in recent years. With a modern vehicle, you shouldn't really be suffering any problems. If you have got problems, it could be because you've got a bad conversion. But if you're looking for a brand new campervan, a brand new M1 registered on the DVLA logbook, you can have a look at that video here. Thanks for watching. Take care. I hope to see you soon.